national anthem. And a special thank you to everybody who joined in, because I think the national anthem is meant to be sung together. And thank you for leading us in that. It is also great to be here with Governor Ayotte and Congressman Pappas and Mayor McEachern. Most importantly, though, thank you and welcome to America's newest citizens. You may come from 46 different countries. Some of you hail from our neighbors of Canada and Mexico. Others come from as far away as Ukraine, South Sudan, Laos, and the Marshall Islands. But today we can proudly call you our fellow citizens and our fellow Americans. And as Governor Ayotte and Senator Shaheen did, I want to take a moment to welcome you as America's newest citizens and to talk about the ways in which, with this honor, come the responsibilities of citizenship. First, congratulations on obtaining one of the greatest honors in the world, one which Louis Brandeis called the most important political office, American citizen. I know that this journey was years in the making for many of you and required really hard work. Your journey in becoming citizens may be a bit different than the journey of previous immigrants who arrived at Strawberry Bank, but with them you share a common aspiration to build a better life in a country where we're all free to follow our dreams. In the oath of citizenship, you swore to support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America. To support and defend, what does that really mean? For some, it means serving in uniform. Indeed, we owe our freedom to the courage of those who served. But the responsibility of supporting and defending the ideals of freedom, self-government, and the rule of law embodied by the Constitution, that's a task that belongs to all citizens. For most of world history, the task of maintaining the nation's laws, principles, and institutions didn't fall to the citizens. It was the job of the king, or perhaps rich nobles. But here, we the people govern ourselves, have our own say, and write our own future. Of liberty, though, also comes responsibility. For to borrow from the granite stater Daniel Webster, freedom is, quote, ours to enjoy, ours to preserve, ours to transmit. Generations past and generations to come hold us responsible for this sacred trust. On us to stay informed and stay engaged, to work with our neighbors even when we disagree, to vote, to sometimes even run for office ourselves, and decide time and again to care about our country's future even when caring seems pointless or caring seems hard. Your responsibilities as citizens also involve upholding the rule of law represented by the Constitution. This means more than simply following our laws. It means standing against lawlessness, whether it's found in the streets or in the corridors of power, whether by violent mobs or by leaders who forget their own obligations. President Kennedy said these words: "No form of government requires more of its citizens than does the American democracy." Some 249 years ago today, when delegates in a hall in Philadelphia declared our independence, and later when they drafted the Constitution, they did so knowing that it fell on ensuing generations to make our union more perfect. As we did, we overcame the scourge of slavery, when women reached for the ballot, and when we rid ourselves of Jim Crow. For America is only as free as each generation of new citizens wills it to be. In that sense, you may have sworn an oath today, but your most important job as citizens has only just begun. I know that you are up to the task. Look to the stories of immigrants intertwined in our own history. 8 of the signers of the Declaration of Independence were immigrants. Today, citizens both new and old can be found opening small businesses, joining the ranks of our armed forces, serving our communities as first responders, and pioneering new science and technology as researchers and innovators in our universities and laboratories. As you know, our newest citizens often have a special appreciation for why America is the greatest country on earth. They may not have been born in America, but their hope was America. And they were willing to give up much for the sake of calling themselves Americans. That's part of what makes this country great. It's how we draw the best and brightest minds from every corner of the globe. Now, I know that particularly when our country is in a polarizing political moment, being a good citizen can be hard. When our country is faced with tough debates, it's hard to work together. It's hard to look for the best in our neighbors some days. It's hard to be a good citizen when some in our politics think so little of our country and our people that they try to divide us in the pursuit of power. And social media feeds become engulfed in the flames of hate, anger, and extremism, it is really hard to believe that we can actually make things better. But it is precisely in these moments when being a good citizen counts. For those of us who have long lived here, when we grow accustomed to America, it can become easy to take some of her blessings for granted. With familiarity, we forget what makes this, as Lincoln said, the last best hope of earth. Our country is not perfect, democracy can be hard, and progress is not a straight line. But as our new citizens know well, one can't judge America only by its worst moments any more than they could judge it solely by its best. The canvas of our country was never painted simply in dark shades or light, nor was it ever painted by just one person. Better than the stuff of Norman Rockwell, America is real. Better than a perfect union, America is a project to build a more perfect one. America is not a static thing. We're Emerson's, quote, country of the future, of beginnings, of projects, of vast designs and expectations, close quote. Always changing, always adapting, hopefully improving. We're nothing less than a breathing miracle that requires the lives, fortunes, and sacred honors of each generation. So if you want to find our country's potential and possibilities, if you want to bring out the best in your neighbors, then hold on to the optimism of this day. And in those moments when the price of citizenship feels greater than its promise, my charge to you and to all citizens, new and old, is this. On this 4th and forever, look on America with the hopeful gaze of its newest citizens. Unable to take for granted our beautiful land and bountiful opportunities, our laws and our liberties. Unencumbered by the temptation to let politics lead us to forget that loving America means loving all of your fellow Americans. Unburdened by the uneasy cynicism that looks at our country and finds less to revere and more to revile, but instead spending less time counting each other's wrongs and more time resolving together to do right. Look upon America through the eyes of an Irish family escaping famine and who on the docks of Portsmouth found a better life, of a Greek father who knew that this is a place to get a new start. Glance towards our cities, farms, and granite hills with the same yearning of a Vietnamese girl or a young Haitian mother who imagined that perhaps in a quiet New Hampshire town, they can put behind them years of pain and strife. Survey our history, institutions, and democracy itself with the same care as a Jewish refugee from occupied Europe, or a student who slipped past the Iron Curtain, to whom the phrase land of the free is not a tired cliche, but a hope worth risking one's life for. Feast your eyes on this country as the first voyagers did when they peered through mist and fog and saw the distant banks of a place that would become Portsmouth, a place where they could build something, a place where dreams are always possible, a place worth braving icy currents and sailing halfway across the world for, a place where perhaps one day freedom could ring. That's the promise of citizenship. That's how we best support and defend our Constitution. And in celebrating your becoming the latest recipients of that great inheritance, I cannot imagine a better way to spend this 4th of July. God bless you.